is find guys that run smaller businesses and give them an opportunity to not deal with the headache of their small business to make way more money.
What I found with hiring people or working with people is that I'm much more of an energy personality type, like can you get shit done person than your resume says XYZ.
Things were just getting done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to this level of this is just done before I even asked in the marketing department, because that just wasn't happening yet.
Create an environment that someone wants to be around. Make it a fun culture. Be valuable. Provide value both ways. Educate them, coach them. Like when it comes to spending money on people, you've done a lot of it. So walk us through some of your biggest hires recently, the past year, whatever. It's costly, what kind of some of that investment looks like and what projected ROI and like ideas of like, why am I paying this for this?
I think, you know, what's so funny is I had, this is like 3 years ago. So I was looking for a new accounting firm, and I actually engaged with one of the largest accounting firms in the nation. Wasn't the big four, but they were like 5th or 6th on that list. And they were reviewing how much I was paying the people on my team. They're like, why are you doing this? And, you know, one, you know, there's not much equity that's been given out, right? In certain like subsectors there has been, but like, you know, I'm really, you know, the one major person in control. It's not that I'm against giving out equity. I'm against not being able to use my resources the way I want to use them. That's the biggest issue. It's like, I don't need to ask 10 people to be able to spend $500,000 on something that I believe in my vision that's got us here today will get us to the next spot. But they were like, why are you paying so much? And I'm like, well, these are people that have my fucking back, that are ensuring that the things are getting done the correct way, that are A players, that are able to handle things with limited, you know, there's always a team aspect to things. You got to build on workflows, but like, they don't need to be asked, where are you all the time? They don't need to be asked, why didn't this project get done? They don't need to be asked those things. And so you look at market standards, and I think market standards are a good reference point. And I think anyone below a certain pay grade or a certain title, yes, market standards makes a lot of sense. But when you were sitting, you know, we call it the Knights of the Round Table. When we're sitting in the conference room and we're trying to tackle a big problem, do you want to be surrounded by people that are getting paid 60 grand a year? Or do you want to be surrounded by people that are making big bucks and they have a vested interest in the growth of the company, right? You want to be surrounded by people that are making big bucks. And you want to be surrounded by people that have upside in those big bucks, because it's only going to make you more money in the long run. So there's been 3 major hires. We had a specific accountant that came on board, and he comes with a couple other guys that were on his team as well. And we basically paid a package deal for all 3 of them. And it was like, do we want to have someone local to Kentucky come into the business, and we probably need 2 or 3 people that have no idea what's going on. I don't know if I necessarily trust them in the bank account, because fraud can take place, and we have measures for that. But we're funding, I mean, this month we're about to cross $5 million, and we have, you know, several weeks left, and that's in-house. This is money going to, this isn't, you know, brokered transactions. This is our cash with 50 plus syndicates, with millions of dollars on the line and tons of different transactions. I was like, instead of training all these new people, it might make more sense to hire someone with experience and pay them a premium so they can plug and play. That was number 1. You were a big hire. And so we have to leverage not only your upside capture on your salary from Bluegrass, but we also have to leverage other endeavors that we're going to work on together with new business. With that being said, you know, I felt as if every time you and me sat in a room, 1, I felt motivated and uplifted. Good. 2, I felt like we were meeting new people as a team. I felt like our strategy sessions were really good. I felt like our energy was aligned very well. And then you started like you came on for that working interview, and things were getting done without me asking. You know, a couple of miscellaneous credit card charges, but other than that, things were just getting done. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to this level of this is just done before I even asked in the marketing department, because that just wasn't happening yet. Because I had not found the right talent. And then the most recent hire is kind of a very similar person to you. And it's also someone that's going to be helping us out with the marketing, but, you know, also technology, strategy, creatives, things of that nature. And it's like, these are all individuals that can have the full capability of running their own businesses. I'd rather have those entrepreneurial, spirited, A-plus minds on my team and give them a way that they can make more money than their own business. Hopefully, right? At scale. And it will happen. But like, hopefully that's the situation with all people, like not towards you, with all people that you're looking at in this boat. And so it's kind of a framework that you can kind of adopt, is find guys that run smaller businesses and give them an opportunity to not deal with the headache of their small business to make way more money
Yeah.
by helping you build a big business. So it's like you had a successful business, but like revenue to revenue, like obviously we have a lot of different things going on with me.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can get, a big piece of upside capture here from bonuses, from salaries, from investment opportunities, and then new ventures that we're going to build together. And so I've really taken a part of that of like, how can we kind of add more businesses to the portfolio? How can we get these A players that have abilities to be able to grow and scale, maybe even sellable companies? And how do we get those guys into the fold? And I think it's worked out really well. But more importantly, it's just more fun being in the office. It's way more fucking fun. Oh my God. It's a breath of fresh air. When you hire people for what the, going rate is, how often do you sit there like, why didn't you get this done? Why weren't you here? Why did you take this many vacation days? Why aren't you bringing me creative ideas? Why do I feel like I'm doing all the work by myself? Every entrepreneur in the fucking world. Why do I feel like I'm the only one that can get something done? Well, when you hire A players, you're going to be able to get people that get things done for you, but you're going to have to pay them. And you can pay them in different ways. You can give them upside capture with sweat equity, right? You can give them very clear bonus paths. And I think this is a problem with so many small business owners and compensation packages is like they just don't really know how to build them. I'll be the first to admit I'm not perfect at them, but I definitely know more than when I was only doing $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And we're doing well over 8 figures a year. It's like I know how to build these things much better. And getting those compensation packages to align correctly and being able to have those conversations can attract top talent. But also, how long did it take for me to find someone like you?
20-something years.
Oh, okay.
However long you've been alive. I don't know. I'm 26 now, 26 years. So
yeah, there you go. Well, it's like I had marketing agency. I had like ragtag group of marketers on my team. Then I had marketing agency A, then marketing agency B. Then I hired a personal brand director, and then they led me to you. And then I was like, let's fucking redo this entire. It just took, I like to kind of go back to the parable when I started investing in real estate. Like I was sitting there trying to learn all about how real estate works, and I was like, I'm not going to give a fuck unless I risk some money. So I set aside $250,000 and I put $50,000 into 5 properties. I was like, all of a sudden I care. It's like if you're betting on a sports game and you put 10, 20, 50 bucks on the line, now you care about that sports game. No matter what it is that's playing, even if you don't like it. You might not like baseball, but you bet 50 bucks, you kind of have vested interest now. It's the same thing I did with real estate. And so my bull in the China shop mentality was like, I'm just going to go spend money on marketing and see what the fuck happens. And I lost millions. I lost fucking millions. But I'm going to make tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions more, because through that process, I found what not to do, which is the most important thing. We did generate some type of leads. We did generate some type of workflows, but more importantly, I started talking to the right people in the marketing space and finding better people to work on the team. It was just one of those costs that I had to accept. You have to reinvest into your business. Yeah.
And a lot of the talent too, like a lot of things that we're doing now are quote unquote new things to me. Like I never worked in GHL or I never did anything with business loans yet, but I have the mentality and this ideas. Like a lot of times things get done because I treat it as like, if it's my own business, and I'm like, well, if I was doing this, I'd want it done like this because like it's easier, it's faster, it's going to make more money. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Like this is the obvious answer. And when you find people who have that level of care, because like, as you know, as a business owner, it is hard to have someone that treats a business like it's their business too.
Right.
You're like, oh no, I feel like I care just as much. And I might not be like the same, but it's like, no, I'm like I'm pissed. Like if we don't get fucking 10 apps or not that, we want 40 apps a day. If we don't get 40 apps a day, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Like, come on guys, what the fuck? Like you're going through and you're like double checking everything and you're like, what's going on here? But it's that level of meticulous insight and energy and like, what's going on with this? And that's more of a personality archetype than it is experience. Because you can have a guy who's been a marketer for 30 years, great, but maybe doesn't have the energy in that. That's the thing. And I found with hiring people or working with people, it's that I'm much more of an energy personality type. Like, can you get shit done person than your resume says XYZ. It might look really fun and fancy, but I care about what you actually do. I don't really care about the back end shit.
Well, resumes don't always make sense is what I've learned through hiring. I mean, there are technical skills that you do have to vet. Like if you're hiring someone to build you a CRM, they need to probably have background in coding. Like that's undeniable. But like, you didn't go to college. You dropped out to start a business.
Yeah.
That was a green flag to me, but some people are like red flag. Like, what's so funny that I graduated by, what I wanted to do outside of college is I want to be in investment banking. So for background, major in finance, major in marketing, minor in international business. Graduated with a 3.65 GPA, all of which while being in fraternity, starting businesses, the whole nine. I applied for JP Morgan Chase, as well as some other investment banking jobs like Goldman Sachs. I didn't even get past the vetting process for a human being to look at my resume because I didn't have like a 3.8 GPA. That was it. Gone. Didn't even fucking make it even anywhere close. I had a hard time with boutique investment firms looking at me because I didn't have a 3.8 GPA. And I was like, what the fuck is this world?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I'm over here like, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been a terrible route to go down versus the route that I did. But the point of the matter is like, I found a skill in marketing for sure, but I found a better skill in being able to learn new things fast, be able to be a true team player that's easy to work with, and then that you also you had a better implementation system to yourself. Like you just built things and you implemented them, and you're an A player. You're someone that can be relied upon without asking all the where are you questions, the checkpoints, the Trello boards, all the fucking bullshit that it takes to make sure that you can micromanage a person.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to find that. It really fucking is. And everyone, wherever you are, starting a business or just working in general, we're doing coaching with a client recently who lives in Baltimore. It's like, we just don't have talent here. I'm like,
it's everywhere.
I'm in Louisville. You know, I didn't think that there was talent. There's fucking talent in Louisville. There's 600,000 people here. You think I can't find 30 talented people? Of course I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just have to spend more money and look harder. And that's hard. But running a business is hard.
Yeah.
Would you rather do, be broke?
Yeah. Choose your hard. It's
Yeah.
all going to suck. And honestly, like not even half the reason, but like a large reason that like this is just so stupid that like you look at syndication and you're like, bro, in 20 years, like
There's your exit play.
Bro, it's like I have to like to work for the marketing agency. Like the marketing agency could not do this in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like it would be the world's largest marketing agency, which like you look at stats and all the other things, it's like I can fucking grow shit and I can sell, but I'm like 300 million sell? I don't know. Like when you look at syndication numbers and projections, you're like, fuck, dude.
I just have to make enough money to feed the beast and be with the beast for long enough. You do it for 20, 30 years, bro. It's a wrap.
Yeah. And I'm still doing the exact same. I'm doing the same shit. Literally, what I do with you is the same shit I do with my marketing agency. I'm managing content, I'm managing clients, managing people. It's just within its own bubble.
Yeah.
Like the same thing.
Well, you don't have to deal with accounting.
I don't have to deal with accounting.
You don't have to deal with legal.
Don't have legal. And also have to deal with like
you get a lot of other people that handle sales reps, bullshit. You don't have to deal with processing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, still kind of the same thing because I hired people to do that bullshit because I always didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing the things that I enjoy, which is great.
Yeah. But even when you hire people to do it, you have to like check on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You always want to like dot your T's and cross your I's. Like the amount of times there's like probably 20 times a day where I go back in through all of our systems and just be like, is this actually fucking working? Like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
Or like someone says something and I'm like, I think you're full of shit. And I like go through and just double check because
the amount of times that a sales rep or a manager or just someone in the company will come up to you with an opinion and it's not fact-based at all. Another reason for CRM. Just like, well, here are the stats.
Exhibit 35.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the amount of times I have conversations with people where they're like, this isn't working. This isn't here. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, it's like you walk into a room and you're like, hey, can you grab this thing for me? Like, it's not there. I don't know where it went. And then you walk in, you're like, it's on the fucking counter right there. And you're like, I didn't see it. Like, yeah, you didn't. But next time you will, hopefully. I feel like that's for me, being a business owner was that. It was like walking into a room. I actually had that happen a lot of times. I was like, hey, the hard drive's on the counter. They're like, it's not here. Walk in, hard drive's on the counter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. You got to just talent. Hard to find. So when you do, pay them well, fucking keep them, lock them in.
Yeah. You have to find stickiness too. It's either like profit share or rev share or like, bonuses don't vest for a certain period of time. Syndication's a great way. I mean, it's just so sticky. It's like, hey, why would you leave this?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? You can make an extra 20, 30K somewhere else. Doubtful in this industry. But like, we got guys 25 making 200 grand. They're like, well, I can do something else. I'm like,
the fuck? Like what?
You're fucking 25, dude.
Yeah.
You got a solo family of four is like dream salary right now, and you're 25 years old, and then you're making another 50 to 100 grand from syndication. I'm like, what the fuck? You're making 300 grand a year. Fuck. They're not going to leave. So you find ways to make things sticky, and I think that actually did not happen. The whole industry itself kind of fell in my lap, and I'm very thankful for that. But like, I've just developed different ways of stickiness that a lot. It's not a malicious way. It's just like, how do you get people to care about what you're building? And the more you can get them to care, the longer they're going to stick around, right?
Yeah.
And financial incentivization is definitely a part of that. So you don't need to give people pieces of equity, and then when the business sells, they can just invest in the portfolio that we're building, and they get shared gains there.
Yeah.
Why would they want to leave that? All they have to do is let that ride. It's way better than the S&P. I had a conversation with someone earlier today, and they're like, "Yeah, well, diversity." I'm like, "Well, I'm making like fucking 25 times more money than you do, and I'm not diversifying very well at all right
Yeah.
now because I'm like SME, right?
Yeah.
The
You're like,
Cindy
it fucking
500.
works. It fucking works. Well, and another way to think about this, and I was thinking about this too, it's a funny way. A lot of people get this idea of like finding a partner in relationships. You want to have stickiness. You want to like make them dinner or like do these things. Like you're creating an environment that someone wants
Create
to
value
stay.
for yourself
Creating
that
value
helps
for
their
yourself.
life, which makes them want you around more.
Yeah. And that's being a business owner. Create an environment that someone wants to be around. Make it a fun culture. Be valuable. Provide value both ways. Educate them, coach them. Like you got to have it be an intertwined thing. Like I don't think you and I would have a great relationship if we never talked. Like if it was like, hey, here's your salary and like go do things. I'd be like, okay, well, it's fun, but like it's not as much as we want. And you got to know what your team needs. Like I like conversation. I like
Well, that's the other
talking.
hard part is like you got to get managers that build that relationship with their team.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard because sometimes it is just work. I don't understand it. It's just like, this is a hobby to me. This is fun, but I understand
fun.
that it's not like that for everyone. But you have to get your managers to replicate the same relationship you built with them.
Yeah.
And the managers are always thinking, how can I get closer with owners? It's like, no. How do you get closer with your team? Because that's how you build that bond and that stickiness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of relationship building in that sense. I mean, if the one guy that I work with isn't here, I would be around him probably more if he was, but like fucking Noah and I are going to be BFFs. We're fucking going to be like, giggling in corners at the office. We're going to fucking make it work.
Yeah.
He's great to work with too. Like I'm super glad we're doing stuff with him because he is super fun. It's like great, more good energy. Just keep piling it on.
That's how you build good culture.
Hey, build good culture. Have some fun. So walk me through high level. What even is it?
So syndication is essentially funding a client with your own money. And there's, syndication is technically referring to we're raising capital to be syndicated on the deal. So typically that capital raise is going to be consistent of multiple people. And together that creates a fund or an allocation. And then you guys go in to syndicate to complete a deal. So if you have a $100,000 deal, you might raise $20,000 from 5 different people. All those $20,000 increments are called syndicates, syndicating into the $100,000 deal.
But with that being said, syndication gives you a pretty high ROI. So it's like, why would someone want to syndicate in the first place?
Well, business owners obviously have a hard time accessing capital. So they're willing to take capital at a higher dollar or at a higher interest rate from us. It's technically a higher factor rate is what's the technical definition because we're purchasing future receivables. The trade-off is there is less collectability. So in many of these agreements, there's no personal guarantees. There's definitely no like assets backing it as collateral. There are some laws in some states where large enough deals can be backed by collateral, but these are typically like $2 million plus deals. It varies state by state. But the reason that someone would want to syndicate with us is because they're going to get a higher return than a normal investing platform or a normal investing vehicle, if you will. So with everything, there's risk, 100%, but we're averaging about 30% returns for our clients per year, for our investors. Our sales reps, they get to syndicate on deals. What that does is, deals that come from our brokerage shop, there's a little bit more care for the deal. So they're not going to just give us a deal to get in commission. They're going to give us a deal that they actually believe is going to go the distance, which gives our investors, myself, more confidence. And then for me, it's the best way to reinvest back into your business. So some people want to reinvest into marketing. Some people want to reinvest into people. Some people want to reinvest into SaaS. And those are all things that we reinvest in. Don't get me wrong, but I silo it off. I have multiple different P&Ls, but as much discretionary income after those reinvestments that we put back into the fund, because in all reality, the larger deals that we can fund, the more deals that we can fund typically are going to flow through to commissions to our brokerage shop. And we fund deals for brokerage shops all across the country, but our biggest ISOs are our brokerage shop, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of get paid twice there, which is a great opportunity, not only for the brokerage shop to eat, but also for us to reinvest the gains so we can get lucrative returns.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're averaging like 30% for blanket syndicates that have the highest fee structure. So people that work directly for us can exceed those returns.
Yeah. Well, and that's the cool thing about it is, that's a lot of people's retirement plans at the long run,
Well,
Because
so Tony Robbins mentioned that, you get access to like anyone can go invest in the S&P 500. You want to make 8 to 12% a year, great. You're going to have years that, you don't do as well. And some people are using financial advisors, so there's a fee that comes out of that. But then there's like this group of private equity type of deals that people want to go into. And those are going to be, anywhere from like 12 to 16%. Well, then Tony Robbins mentions that he gets access to deals. And that's what he's built with his personal brand is access to get into investments that other people can't get into. And so that's where he gets his like 17, 18, 19, 20% deals. Well, the problem with going for that high of upside, nothing wrong with Tony's model, but like a lot of those higher upsides are going to be like startups or venture capital or just things that have a lot more of a speculative outcome.
yeah,
The good thing with us is like we treat this like a portfolio. So you're only going in a minor piece in every deal that creates diversity, which can keep the money extremely safe. But yeah, it's a lucrative investment opportunity. Most people just don't know about it. And as the merchant cash advance industry becomes more and more robust, it'll be a weird landscape because it'll be more compliance too.
Yeah.
But more people will be investing into it.
well, and so one of the cool things that I started realizing about it, where I was like, how are these compounds like so crazy? Like, how is this really working? Is that like, say, if I have 10 grand available for syndication, and I have 10 deals that I go into $1,000, I have the wallet balance now increased to like, I don't even know what it'd be, like 13, 14K. So it's like I have that valuation on my portfolio. If everything pays off, there's always a default risk and all that. But then you get the weekly payments or the daily payments or whatever. And you put that money and put it right back in smaller deals. And you can just keep rinsing it. And you get like a 1.7x return on your money. So it's not only just that 25, 30%, you then get another part of that. And like you said, you have default rates factored in there, but it's like, this is like a lot of fucking shit compounding really quick. This is a snowball.
Yeah,
Big
you're,
ball.
you're jumping all over the place. And I would imagine someone listening is like, what the hell's happening
If
right
you
here?
saw it with your eyes.
If you see it with your eyes, yeah, it is a learning curve with new people that want to work with us, and like what we tell them always is to just start. And so for us, there's no minimum for someone to invest with us. There's a minimum of $150,000, and that only goes up. Like every quarter, we raise that because it's less valuable. But for a new rep, we think that that's the driving force as to what's going to build our business. So we have zero minimum. They can put in $100, and they out of that $100 can go into 2 or 3 deals, $30 a piece.
Yeah.
It's a really small portfolio, but that's what we do. We pay extra resources so they can do that. But the point of the matter is, let's say you go into a deal, it's $100,000, pay back $150,000. There's going to be fees and commissions that get baked into there. Let's say that the return to you is like 30% on that one deal, but it's only over like 6 months. Not only do you have the opportunities to refinance that deal, all these cool things can happen. There's also the opportunity for bad things to happen, like defaults. But let's say that deal's on a daily payment. So if we're obtaining, $1,000 a day, and we're just throwing general numbers out there, and you're in 10% of the deal, well, $100 out of that 1,000 every single day is going to your wallet balance. So instead of waiting for the deal to mature in full, you can take that $100 or over the course of a week, maybe $500, and you can lump that into a new deal. So the cool thing is, like, let's say you give me 150 grand, I get all of that out to 20, 25, 30 deals within the first month. Well, on month 2, you now have this daily balance that's coming back to your account. It's kind of like a dividend in Robinhood, right? So when stocks pay out dividends, you get a credit. You can reinvest that into something. Well, you're getting a dividend every single day. It's your portion of payments. And that portion of payments before that deal hits principal or matures in full, it's still money in your account. Well, we want to go find another 20, 30, 40, 50 deals to put that in over the next several months. So one person can give me 150 grand. The initial, recycling of that money is going to be 20, 25 deals. But over the course of 12 months, they'll end up participating in like 150 to 250, just depending on size, depending on a couple different factors. But you're going to participate in several hundreds of deals to really even out that portfolio. That way, when defaults do occur, because they will, and if you aren't experiencing defaults, you're not big enough. It's that simple. Then you can accommodate for that, right? And so that's where things can get really sticky. Is you have to have a disciplined group that's managing your investment, but making sure that we diversify you, even if there is someone that defaulted and it was a bad default pretty early on into the deal, you're not going to be in a position where you're not going to make money. So, which is the beautiful part. Not a single person has experienced a loss with us.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when the returns are so high. Like,
it's easier than you think. There's a lot of people that do not know how to manage money out there. The cool thing with cash advance is that there is such an ease of access that a lot of non-business owners are becoming business owners. That's essentially what's happening. Like, a lot of guys that are fly by night that, they might be able to manage 4, 5, 10 people at most, but they can't build a real organization. They're getting into the space, and like, you'll be surprised. I've seen people lose. I've had a white label lose a few $100,000 in the course of like 2 or 3 months when you cut them off.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot easier than people think, but there are large margins to protect yourself from that.
Yeah.
So you just gotta.
The workflow you guys have created has probably led to a much healthier system.
We have a lot of people, right? And not that many, but like we have checks and balances. Like you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
So you need to spread the workflow. You need to make sure that everyone's aligned. You need to ensure you have really high talented people. But, it is a small group managing a lot of money. But yes, we've also lost millions. Think about that. So, we've lost millions of dollars to the point where I was like, this is so stressful, I might just give it up. And instead, the only way to overcome losses is by fund more.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to hear. You have to fund more. And so we overcame the losses were short term. There's no long-term losses on the book. But if I stopped at that point in time, there could have been a realized loss. You just got to take the cash you got on hand. You got to keep going. So we kept going, we kept spending the cash, kept recycling it. Those dailies that kept coming in, and now we're in a spot that's really, really good. We just have a lot more controls in place nowadays.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine that's like if you're managing the books for a business like that, it's probably a lot of risk analysis on your guys' part for identifying the business is worthy of it, right?
Yeah, so like every deal is comprised of like 50 people, and they're all in varying percent participation. So like one payment comes in, let's call that payment $10,000. That's coming into the bank up top. It's trickling down to like 50 different accounts. So thankfully, we have some really robust SaaS systems that help us do it. More importantly, we have some really good accountants that understand this. So when we were talking about your marketing agency and we're talking about cash-based accounting, like that's no brainer. That's easy stuff. A lot of bookkeepers can do it. It makes tax also very easy. This is a much different ballgame. And I actually had to go through four different bookkeepers and CPAs before I found one that actually worked out. And it's because it was just so foreign. And like, I'm not saying cash advance in general is foreign, but like it's like syndicating on real estate deals, but at way higher volume. Cause like a real estate, maybe a big one does 50 deals a year. We're doing like 75 deals a month, 80 deals a month, all with their own 50, 60 breakdowns of syndicates. So from a bookkeeping perspective, you just got to find the right talent. Not as expensive as you think if you find the right people that specialize in your field. But then from an underwriting standpoint, yes, we have to ensure that we hit certain markers. And there will be occasions where we go outside of our box if we feel that comfortable with the investment. And that's what the investors have to give me that trust in. It's like, hey, you're letting me have free reign on judgment on whether this deal is going to pay or not. We don't need to be so attentive to each individual deal. We need to be attentive to the portfolio and the way it looks at the end of every month, right? Because we silo each month as its own portfolio and assess default rates.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you guys look out for to make sure that businesses are going to pay?
Do they have a brick and mortar location, sole props, or just high likelihood of default? They don't have obligations to other individuals like a landlord. That's an easier way for them to pack up shop and try to not pay you. Do they have employees? When a business owner has employees, they have to pay people, right? So that makes another layer of stickiness for them to, just pack up shop and try to go do something else. That's from like a collectability standpoint. We also really value high deposits. So let's say that the business owner does $100,000 a month in revenue, but let's say they only have 5 deposits. Well, if one of those vendors goes away, right? That's citrus paribus. So all things being equal, it's 5 deposits of $20,000 equating to 100. In reality, sometimes they're different, but that's 20% of their business that's gone. We'd rather have a business that has 50 deposits, a restaurant. So if you decide that you don't want to go to Shiraz Mediterranean Grill tomorrow, it's not going to be the end of their business. And buy your 6 entrees. So
that's probably a good 0.01% of their business.
Yeah, there you go. So we like frequent deposit counts. I mean, listen, my underwriting SOPs are like, they're all micro because like we kind of do them all with a lot of these with automations, but it's got like 100 steps to it. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at. Recent bankruptcies, do they change the accounts frequently? If they're shutting down accounts and starting new accounts all the time, it's, can be an issue. But I mean, I could talk for 3 hours about this.
There's a lot of steps basically
Yeah,
to ensure that you guys have a low default.
for sure.
And that's what you guys can do. So if someone else is running a book, there's a lot of steps. And if you're not doing that many steps, because someone just heard you say, hey, I have like 100 things. You're like, well, dang, I only have 10.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well,
More. And it's weird. Some things we have higher weights to. Some things are more important to us than others. Some things will be a quicker, this is a decline automatically. Some things we'll overlook. It just depends. I mean, there's a lot of subjective things. Like, let's say that the merchant got in a lawsuit at one point in time. Well, was it financial fraud? If that's the case, then we're probably going to let it go. But if it was financial fraud and we have a story as to why that case got settled or why that case was dropped, well, then we'll pay attention to that. So there's like objective underwriting and subjective underwriting. It's like everything in the scrub process up front is pretty objective. How do you get down to that waterfall system? Okay, there's enough revenue here. There's a deal here. We like the ISO. They're telling us things that we want to hear. Now it starts turning into, can we get the stories figured out with all the little miscellaneous things that are taking place in their account? Like seeing a lot of withdrawals or a lot of deposits taking place from checks, and we don't know where that revenue is coming from. Like, maybe not checks, but deposits. It's like, is this funding? Is this, true revenue? Or are you just transferring money from account to account? Like, we have to figure out if there's any type of things going on there, and that's a little bit more subjective.
Yeah. And how big's your team that runs the book for Lionheart?
Well, loaded question, because we have a lot of different things going on there. Direct team that runs on just Lionheart every day, like 8 or 9. Total, like, funding conglomerate, like closer to 15 ish. And there's a lot of fractional people too. So like our attorneys aren't full time. We have so there's some fractional stuff too. Actually, it's probably 10 or 11 full-time Lionheart conglomerate wide for all in-house funding. It's probably closer to 15, 16. But then we have, like, again, if you look at my attorneys, just the attorneys I use every year, I'm going to use these attorneys every year for something. I have like 9 or 10 of them just for different things. If I'm, have to be the defendant, different collections agencies, compliance attorneys, contract attorneys, attorneys that just write up general counsel related matters, like, just agreements and whatnot. So, it gets complicated as time goes on, but you really just need a tight knit, close. I mean, if you want to fund like $1 million a month, you really only need like 4 or 5 people that are pretty tight knit. And then, you get a fractional, contract attorney, a fractional collections attorney, and a, fractional bookkeeper. You can get all that done pretty easily. It's just hard to, like, really get to that next level. Yeah. So that's the thing, is like, you're doing $1 million a month. You're probably on the phone with every client that you're funding. See, I'm not, right? I don't talk to clients unless it's over a certain dollar amount. And even then I rarely talk to them. So I give my team free reign to fund up to like $250,000. I don't even have to look at it.
Yeah. It's still good to hear. I mean, if I was an investor listening to this, I mean, 15 people is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of eyes looking at something. And you think of a lot of businesses.
See, I don't think it's a lot because I have the brokerage shop, which is like 60 people.
Well, because it's all.
I'm like, that is way bigger.
Yeah, but like, your guys are all focused on one thing. Like, for me, if I had 15 people in a marketing agency just doing that, like, that were full time and weren't contractors, I'd be like, bro,
yeah,
that's like servicing probably 2 million, 4 million.
It takes time. It takes time. I think, I had a really close friend of mine. Not going to shout his name out, but he's funded a lot of money, and he and I got on the phone the other day, and we were just catching up, and he was like, yeah, dude, I had like $20 million in defaults last year. I lost a lot of investors, blah, 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 blah. And I think in this world of social media, it's so easy to want to go fast, but like, scaling too fast can kill you.
Yeah.
And you can push a lot of money out really quickly. But if you can't get that money to come back and you don't have the controls in place, so you got to think about it. If I send out a loan today, it's going to take, let's say the average term length is 7 months. Well, it's going to take me 7 months to figure out if the loan performs, right? And they can have issues in month 1. They could have issues in month 6. It's going to take me 7 months to know exactly what's going to take place with that particular loan. And then more importantly, or that funding. And then more importantly, if there's some type of like, adjusted payment schedule, sometimes that might take a year. So you're delaying that process even more. you really have you have a very delayed reaction at knowing your true gains. You have estimated gains, but you have a delayed reaction at understanding your true gains. And so you got to be very careful. Even if you get a lot of cash in, you have to be really disciplined with your diversity when it comes to that. Like, let's say you get a capital injection for $1 million. Well, maybe you can raise from $50,000 average unit size to like 75. Woohoo! But like, you can't go from 50 to 250,000.
Yeah.
When you only have $1 million in the account.
Yep.
Right. So
we decided, we figured out syndication is one of the coolest things people can do. If you're someone who's listening to this and you don't know what syndication is, hopefully you have a general idea. If not, reach out to me. He's probably busy, but reach out to me because I want to talk to you about it. Because it is really, really cool. Like, I got pumped when I got into it. I was like, oh, fuck, it's like crack. Like, give me more.